What's up, South Jersey high school basketball fans? Welcome to the second episode of Off the Glass, where we talk about South Jersey high school basketball. I'm your host, Kevin Emmons. I'm joined by my co-host here, Roderick Boyd, and we're happy to have you back for another episode.
Yeah, man. Got two special guests in the building today. Should be a good show. How you been? Like, what's going on with the week? How was your week so far?
Well, the week started off kind of bad for me. I was under the weather. I was under the weather Monday and Tuesday, so I wasn't able to go to work. And then with the weather conditions, a lot of games got moved and stuff like that. So from a basketball perspective, wasn't able to see anything Monday or Tuesday. So that kind of put a damper on my week because, this is the best time of the year. I like to get out, be in the gym, see games and stuff like that. So I wasn't able to do that. Right. But then as the week progressed, felt a little bit better, went back to work, and then, I was just spending my time watching basketball.
Yeah.
That was it. It was a quiet week for me. How about you?
A ton of people are sick right now. My daughter, she's sick. She got sick during the week. I believe that was Monday or Tuesday as well. But I was working so much, I didn't see her. When I came home, she just was out cold. So I haven't seen her for 2 days. She's been in the room. I just peeked the door open. I'm not trying to get sick. It's basketball season. Listen, so I'm trying to stay as healthy as possible right now. But overall, the week was pretty good. Very busy. The rain day that they canceled everything. What was that, Wednesday?
That was, I believe, Tuesday.
Tuesday, they canceled everything. That kind of threw my whole week off. Because now I'm working every single day until 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, like depending on, what day it is. But yeah, it's been busy. It's been busy.
Well, like you said, too, you don't want to get sick because, it's not like football season where games are on the weekend. You're sick during the week. Okay, we can make this work. A little bit of an adjustment. Basketball, you get sick, you miss 2-3 days where you just missed out on a lot. A lot can happen. A lot can happen in one night in South Jersey high school basketball.
Yes.
Now you're talking about 2-3 days. And like you said, I don't know. There's just something going around. I don't know if this is just like the post-pandemic. Like, I feel like every person I talk to tells me like, a lady I work with, she's like, I've had a cold since like Thanksgiving. She's like, I haven't been able to shake it. And that's how I've been the past couple weeks. Yeah. Like, there's some days I feel better, but I'm not, completely able to shake it. I don't know if it's just the season. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of the get back. We've been in isolation. We haven't been in a lot of gyms and a lot of handshaking. We've kind of been, given the daps and all of that. You kind of a little bit removed. We're 2 years removed from COVID, so now everybody's shaking hand, giving a bro hug, all of that. So everybody's like passing it around. It's going through the schools like wildfire. So, between COVID, the flu, what is RSV or something like that, I've been hearing it all as far as sickness. But at least we can get through this. I think by next year, I don't think we'll be getting as sick as we all are now. Everybody's been sick at least once this year.
I agree. Well, fingers crossed, knocked on wood. So let's dive right into it. Even like I said, I missed some time early in the week, but we're still able to get out and see a couple games this week. It's a big one to start at the week. You and me were both at. You had the live broadcast. I had the story. Go check out on D2SportsNetwork.com. Camden and Eastside. I know you're a Camden guy. City rivalry, there's really nothing like it. What were your takeaways from the game? The atmosphere, the game itself?
Well, that's the special part about it, right? The special part is the atmosphere. The game is, for majority of the fans, the game is secondary. The atmosphere, it's just like Thanksgiving Day game. You get to see some of your old classmates, some of your friends. Everybody comes back. Everybody knows everybody. Kids that are on both sides of the court. So it's special in that way. For me, filming the game and doing a broadcast, it's a little bit. How can I say this? It's a little love and hate at the same time because I'm a Camden High graduate, but I broadcast for Eastside. So it's like you always want your home school to win, but you want the team that you're broadcasting for to win as well. So that's one of them games I really didn't care who won. But overall, it lived up to the hype. Camden kind of took control going late into the second quarter. The first two quarters, for the most part, were really competitive basketball. So
I agree. it was a tough draw for Eastside because obviously Camden's at full strength right now. They got Elijah Curry back. They got Nas Simmons back. Samaj Battee will be coming back soon. And obviously, you know, Billy Richmond. We talked about him last week on the show when we were at the game when Camden beat Paul VI on the buzzer beater.
Right.
Kid's going to Kentucky. I mean, enough said. He's that good.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very talented team. And like you said, it was close in the first quarter. Eastside stuck to their game plan. You know, they packed them in with the 2-3 zone. When they had the ball, you know, they took their time with possessions and stuff like that. And talking to their coach after the game, he felt, you know, they deviated away from the game plan once they started rushing possessions, getting the ball, trying to run the floor, because that's what Camden was trying to bait them into. They wanted them to speed it up and play erratic, and that's when the game started to change, you know, in Camden's favor, not so much in Eastside's favor.
Yeah, you hit on some key points, and one of the things that kind of threw the game plan off, in my opinion, was the fact that Camden started knocking down 3-point shots.
Absolutely.
Once they started knocking down those 3-point shots, they just opened up the floor. Now you have to extend to the 3-point line, and now you can't get help rebounding. So Camden just started pounding them on the glass. They started getting the rebounds, and it just changed the game. Teron Murray, he was lights out in the first quarter. About the first half.
First half, he scored all his points in the first half. All 14 was in the first half. I believe he had 3 threes. He was
tough. I mean, he was hard to guard. And then once Simmons got in the game, it was just, man, this is my first time really seeing him play, and he's a big guard. I mean, he was able to control the floor. He was able to get some loose possessions. Eastside was trying to steal the ball. He was spinning off of it, taking it coast to coast, lefty leg. I mean, it just was so smooth. His game was really smooth. So he opened my eyes. But Camden is a different team right now. I know we saw them play against Paul VI, and Paul VI, I mean, they had a shot at beating them. But right now, once you put Curry in that lineup and you get some of those other bigger guards, now Billy Richmond doesn't have to play center. Now he's on the wing. He's a creator, slasher. He wants to get in the open court. I mean, he's 6'7". He's a high riser. So it kind of showed us in the second half the team that Camden is going to be this year.
You're absolutely right, and that's the thing. Talking to their head coach after the game, for those who don't know, Camden's coached by Malik Wayans, who played at Villanova, played for the LA Clippers, Philadelphia 76ers, had a successful career over in Europe. Talking to him after the game, you know, he touched base. He's a Philly guy, but he understands how much basketball means to the city of Camden, the two teams.
Right.
So he elaborated on that atmosphere and how special the win was. But talking to him, you know, talking about being at full strength, he said, you know, we talked about how a couple guys who filled in when we're starting for them, now they fall back in the reserve roles.
Yep.
They were able to get key experience during those games, so that helps them out a lot. And you know, they're just on a different level. It's a team that's been nationally ranked the past couple of years, and they look like a team that has state championship aspirations. When we saw them on, was it Wednesday?
That was Wednesday.
It was scheduled. I'm getting mixed up because it was scheduled for Tuesday.
And
that's when the rain came in.
Yeah. So what was your takeaway? I mean, everything that I kind of saw, it's a little bit different, I think, from my perspective, because I am, you know, from the city. I kind of look at basketball as a way that we played when Coach Turner was there. We want to get up and down the court. So what was kind of your perspective on, you know, the overall game, the overall atmosphere of everything?
Well, the atmosphere itself, I loved. I mean, it reminded me of when I was in school. You know, I'm a Pemberton guy, so, you know, back then, the Broward County Scholastic League was very strong with Pemberton, Medford Tech. Medford Tech had Elijah Kane, who's playing professional basketball right now, Miles Powell, who had a successful career at Seton Hall. Those guys were there for, you know, a year or two. They didn't stay there, obviously, you know. So in those atmospheres, you know, when we played Willingboro was very good at the time. You know, it could be a Tuesday or Wednesday, and the gym was packed, standing room only. And I feel like a lot of games I go to now, you don't see that anymore. You only see it, you know. And I'm not saying it's like that at every school. You know, a lot of schools, like the guests we'll have on today, I'm sure they're very prideful. I haven't been to a game yet at their gym. I know that there's probably a lot of people at their games. But yeah, it just seems like, you know, you don't see that unless it's a playoff game, a sectional championship. And it was nice to go in there, see a gym that was packed, standing room only, that, you know, meant something to the city. It was deeper than basketball.
Yeah. I mean, once we threw the flyer out, man, the inbox just started going crazy. Everybody wanted to know where the game was. I think we got to kind of get back to doing a little bit of that. The Carrier Post and the Enquirer, when I was coming up, were the things, right? That's where you went to see the games. So what we're doing as far as putting out flyers, scores, and highlights and things like that, we got to get to kind of promoting some of these games a little bit more in different areas so we can build it up, you know?
I agree. The challenge with basketball is too, you know, like you can look ahead to what's going to be a big game, but as I said, it's an everyday grind. You know, this game that you're looking at coming up this Thursday may seem like, you know, middle of the pack game that doesn't mean much, and then something transpires early in the week that turns it into a big game. So yeah, we're definitely gonna have to, you know, work on that, you know, hyping these games up and stuff like that, and so we could see these atmospheres. Let's move on here because I know we got a lot to touch base on. The day after that, I went to another good game. I seen Cinnaminson and Medford Tech, two very good Burlington County teams. Cinnaminson was upset by West Hampton Tech last week, 2 weeks ago, something like that. Come to find out, they were missing one of their best shooters. He was out with a concussion. They missed him for 2 games. First game, he was out. They lost to West Hampton Tech. Second game, he was out. They played Bordentown. They got to win that game. And they looked like a completely different team with him on the floor. They've won 4 or 5 in a row now. They play very well together. They're a fun team to watch. They won 25 games last year. Very experienced. They've played together. Medford Tech tried to attack them with like this 1-3-1 press, kind of played extended beyond the perimeter. And for young teams and experienced teams that might not have good guard play, that game plan is going to work. Cinnaminson wasn't flustered by it at all. They were getting the ball into the middle, moving the ball around. They were shooting very well. Drew Harvey, the kid that was out with a concussion, him and his twin brother both play for Cinnaminson. His twins going to Richmond for baseball. Fantastic kids. He had 27 points. I think he had 5 3-pointers, and they pulled away at the end. I mean, it was pure domination from beginning to end. Medford Tech kept it close early on, but for the most part, they dominated. So that was a good game to see. And then last night, I wasn't on coverage. Like I said, I'm a Pemberton guy. I work at Pemberton. There wasn't a lot of games last night, so I hung out. They played Burlington Township. I was curious to see Burlington Township because I've seen them play some teams tough this year, and I watched them play. It was a close game in the first half. Pemberton was up 4 like late second quarter. Burlington Township took a 2-point lead in the halftime. Looked like it was going to be a close game throughout. Very physical, and then Burlington Township just put it on in the second half. They upped the pressure, and they pulled away with it. Hopefully I can obtain a clip and maybe we can get on the show, next show or something. Got to give a shout out to Aaron Ferguson on Burlington Township. Threw down a dunk on an opponent. Jim came to their feet. I mean, it was a fantastic play. And the opponent he dunked on was athletic kid, very tall. So it's saying something, you know. It wasn't like, you know, he just dunked on someone out of position. It was a very physical play, great play of athleticism. And then today, I seen Haddonfield and Delsey. Haddonfield won that game. They pulled away in the second half. Well, really, they closed the first half on a 12-0 run, went up 41-20 at halftime, and second half they just cruised to a victory, 13-0 right now. I believe they're the last unbeaten team in South Jersey. And another experienced group, like a lot of teams we've touched on the past 2 weeks in this show. Just experienced. They move the ball well. They play good defense. They got so many guys that could step up, guys that come off the bench where there might be someone different scoring, you know, 20 points on any given night. So they'll be a team to definitely watch. I mean, they're good perennially. We'll see them, you know, come the postseason. They'll be in the mix for South Jersey Group 2. I'm sure we'll be seeing them playing in the semifinals, the final. They'll be in that mix. But other than that, that's all I really seen this week. Like I said, it was a light week, and that's it.
Yeah, I was able to see Lenape finally. I wanted to see them. They came to East Side. East Side winded up, you know, winning that game. But in that game, it was 2 kids that impressed me. It was I can't remember the other. I was trying to look on here. It was Primus, and they have a guard.
Ty Dorsett. Number 5, I want to say. He wore 20 for the past couple of years. Now he wears number 5.
Number 5, but he was really good. Really smooth game. Big guard.
Yep.
And the other one is number 1. No. It was
Miles
5
is
and
number
2.
1.
Which one? It was number 1? The one that caught the putback, right? Oh, my. Listen, ball came off the rim. Everybody's boxing out. He comes in the lane, 2 hands. I mean, just throws it down. Very athletic play, really good player. But I was impressed by them. I think they're going to be a tough out come playoff time. They were a really good team. Really good team. Very impressed with Lynn and P.
Absolutely. And I mean, they're another program that's good perennially. They were in the South Jersey Group 4 final last year, brought back a lot of guys from that team. And that was the team we actually talked about last week, because going into this week, that was one of the big games that was on our radar, was the Lenape Eastern game. But of course, it got moved because of the weather. So they'll eventually meet up. So, we'll have to wait for that. We'll have to be patient for that one. But those two teams we expect to see playing each other, deep in the postseason.
You're right. But my question to you, this is going to be a hot topic. You don't have to answer it right now. How tough is your job going to be to rank these teams after this week? Don't look at, listen, South Jersey, don't look at me.
It's tough. Hey, that's why they play the games. That's why they play the games. But there was a lot of shakeup this week. There's a lot of shakeup this week. And that's something I work on every day. Every day, I'll go, all right, got this team here, and it changes by the day. But it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard.
Yeah, that's for sure. So listen, South Jersey, we have two special guests. Kev, I'll let you introduce them. You can do your thing. I think it's about time we let everybody know who we got in studio today.
Absolutely. So we have Cherry Hill West head coach in his first year as the head coach of the program, Fred Battee. And we are also joined by Quinn Gibson, junior from Cherry Hill West, fantastic player, off to a great start this season. Cherry Hill West is currently on an 8-game win streak. They won today against Glassboro, 10-1 record to start the year. And first, I got to thank them for coming in, because it was short notice. Yesterday, we were talking. We're like, who are we bringing on the show this week? And these two were the first that came to mind. I was like, there's no better duo to bring onto the show right now with how well they've been playing. So welcome, guys. We're happy to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so first off, Fred, I want to talk to you, kind of just, give your background. I know you were a star at Deptford High School, went and played at Gloucester County College, went and played at Rowan, and then jumped into coaching. Like I said, it's your first year here at the program, or as the head coach, but I know you've been with the program. You've had a couple other stops as an assistant. So kind of just take us through your basketball background.
Yeah, so after Rowan, I got into training. I was doing training, and then I was in travel. And then I was actually at Cherry Hill East for 2 years with Coach Dave Allen, who's been like a great mentor for me. Even to this day, we talk every day. Then I moved on to Lindenwold, where I coached with Randy Connolly. And then I've been at West for the last 5 years. 4 of them I was an assistant under Aaron Burt. So the journey's just kind of it's been a long journey, but I'm happy with the way everything ended up.
That's crazy. You said Aaron Burt. Aaron Burt, my cousin played basketball with Aaron Burt. So I've been knowing Aaron Burt since I've been 7 years old. Really good guy. He was a pretty good basketball player in his day, too.
Yeah. He tells me every day.
Yeah. So how was your experience, coaching under, some of the guys that you've coached under? They pretty good coaches.
Yeah, they've all been great mentors to me. And what I like is they've let me just be me, and they've encouraged me to just be myself, which I think has been the most helpful thing for me. As a young coach, you look at the guys you're coaching for, you try to emulate them. But I really kind of found my voice when I just was myself. And it's great. I can still call those guys all the time for advice. If I need to bounce ideas off of them, I can. So it's been a great to have those mentors around.
And just talk about the collectiveness of this group. Like I said, I seen you guys when you guys went on the road and beat Morristown in a tough atmosphere. Great game to watch. And we just talked about the collectiveness of this group. These guys have been playing together for a long time. And like you said, you've been with the program, so you've been with them for a long time. And they just mesh so well together, got a lot of chemistry, and they seem like great friends off the court. Just talk about that.
Yeah. Well, it's great. Well, being involved with travel, I've known Quinn since he was probably in like 5th grade. I've known Drew Polano since he was in 5th grade, another guard for us. Jaden Cooley and Ben Mans, I've known those kids since they were younger. So I think that's really helped with that relationship, because it wasn't like a new thing when I came in to West the first time. I'd already had those relationships previously. And they're all really close. They're all really tight. Like I said, they spend a lot of time in the summer together. They really work hard together. And I think the fact that they genuinely care about each other has been a part of our success.
Yeah, that's pretty good, Coach. I'm looking at some of the games that you guys have won, beating Camden Catholic, Cedar Creek, Morristown, and Willingboro. coming up in this season, what were some of your goals coming into the season? I know, we want to win every game, right? Is usually the saying, but what were some of your realistic goals coming into this season?
I'm a PE teacher at the school, so I look up at the banner every day and I see that we haven't won the conference since 2015. We haven't won a sectional title in close to 35 years. So just knowing that we have a group that we're really excited about since they were, freshmen and sophomores, we felt like we had a team that can compete for the conference, and feel like we have a team that can compete for the sectional title. So that's our long-term goals, but we're just focused on each day, just getting a little bit better and grinding, and that's kind of how we are right now.
Quinn, I know you played as a freshman, a young team. You guys went on a run in the playoffs, made it to the South Jersey Group 3 semifinals as a young team. I was at the game when you guys beat Cedar Creek, and it was amazing to watch because that was a game that could have went either way. Your season could have ended right there. Next thing you know, you guys are playing again. You guys go on the road, you upset Pemberton. Then next thing you know, you got another game. And that experience with a group of freshmen and sophomores seems like it's kind of paved the way for your guys' success now. So just talk about that playoff run. What was that like, in the perspective of a freshman?
It was just really special, honestly. Like, those are like my best friends who I've been with for like the last 4 to 5 years, and to just go to away, of course, like go beat teams at their own place, and like that atmosphere. It was my first time ever playing like something like that, and it just makes us feel like even more like closer together than we were.
And I know you had a big summer this year. I seen you guys in the Philly Live period at Jefferson University. I know you played AAU. We talked about that after the win against Moorestown. So just talk about your summer. What was your summer like competing? You played with a hoop group select team, correct? So just talk about that. What was that like, and what did you improve this summer?
So I played with the Penn Warriors this summer, a newer team that no one really knows about, but we made a good run in the HCSL. Came in second place, I think. Yeah. And this summer I just mainly put my focus all on basketball and just try to get better every single day so I can make a bigger impact on the season this year.
Yeah, so coming in, Quinn, what I asked you the same question that I asked Coach. As far as your personal goals, like what were some of the things that you wanted to accomplish coming into the year after having some success in previous years?
Especially what he said with the conference and sectional, of course. Last year we started off really slow. I think it was 0-4 or 5. So we just need to keep the energy at the same level that it is to keep just getting through every game by game.
Yeah.
Well, the game I was at when you guys played Moorestown, I believe you were trailing after every quarter except for the fourth quarter. We had a writer, Chris Baker, at the game the other day when you guys played Bishop Eustace, and from the information that was given to me, it seemed like it was the same thing. It seems like you guys have had to play from behind a lot this year, and obviously experience helps with that. So just talk about that, Coach.
Obviously it's not our goal to be at the end of each quarter. But these guys are fearless. They were freshmen and sophomores, probably thrown into the fire before they were even ready. But because of that, like they said, they won big playoff games on the road, so they're fearless. And the big thing with us this year has kind of been mental fitness, bouncing back from tough situations, moving on to the next play. And I love when I looked out on Thursday night and I saw them kind of looking at each other, saying mental fitness, saying move on, just because they understand kind of how we move on as a group. We just move on from things. And I don't even think we looked at the deficit. We just keep playing, just keep our head down, just keep playing.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask Quinn a question about your team. The value of the team, Coach is talking about mental toughness, but the camaraderie. Do you play AAU basketball with some of the other guys, or how do you guys get that team bonding in?
I normally don't, but as we're getting closer to the school year, we come in for morning workouts before school sometimes, or even during the summer twice a week. And we'll just work out on our own anywhere we can. I usually have people at my house sometimes. I have a half court. So I just try to be with them as much as possible, make the most out of our time. Just get as much work in.
Got you. And just coming up, I know you guys, we talked about the Camden and the East Side. How, growing up in Cherry Hill, being a West guy, you guys normally play Cherry Hill East. How big of a game is that for the town of Cherry Hill?
Everybody talks about that game.
Okay.
That's the first thing that people say to us about that game. Even if we have 4 or 5 games before that.
Right.
Literally everybody from both schools goes to that game, student sections. That's just the game that you love every single year.
Yeah.
And it just we haven't beaten them since I've been there, so it's just such a personal game for me. And people are always talking about it, saying things that we can't do or can do. It just felt good to win that game.
Now, what is the dividing line for East and West? Is it like 295, like East of 295, West of 295? How's that
It's
work?
all mixed in
There is
through.
no divide.
Because there's like anytime I always thought that. I know that's like a random thing to think of. Like every time I drive through Cherry Hill, I'm like, well, if I turned here, like West is only 5 minutes on the road, but East is only 5 minutes on the radio. I'm like, I never knew how this works out, but I guess even the Cherry Hill guys don't even know either. So
Yeah, that's always been a good game, East West. I used to go to some of those games as well, but you know, coming into the season, knowing that you guys have an opportunity to win, an opportunity to go far into the playoffs. The mental toughness part, can you speak to just a little bit more about that? Because I think a lot of people, you know, take that part for granted. We talked about it last week with Kev and with Coach, with the kids, with all the pressures of going to school, and they have to figure out what they're going to eat and diet, all that stuff, and then the pressures of social media and all of that stuff. So how can you just speak to that a little bit more? I'm sorry about that.
No. Mental fitness has just kind of been something we've been emphasizing every day, and just kind of just be committing yourself to excellence, whether it be in the classroom, at home, on the court. Just trying to put your best foot forward in everything you do. And then when you get hit with adversity, how do you bounce back? How do you respond? That was the message after the Lenape game. Like, how are we going to respond from this? You know, Lenape's a very well-coached team. They handled us pretty well. But I loved it because I thought it was a great teaching moment for us. Okay. How are we going to bounce back? It was our first time kind of dealing with adversity this season. And we responded well. And, you know, that's what you want to see from your team. You want to see them respond well to adversity because you're going to have rough quarters. You're going to have rough games. You might hit a rough stretch. But how do you respond? How do you bounce back? Those are the most important things. And those are just the life lessons that we want those guys to learn.
Quinn, just pretty much off of what Coach was talking about, the mental toughness part. We watched the guy from Middle Township. He posterized the kid from I forget what school they were playing at the moment. But stuff like that happens on social media. Everybody's trying to expose you guys and put up clips, their highlights. Like, mentally, how does that affect you right now playing? I never had to deal with that, you know, coming up, seeing myself maybe getting crossed up or dunked on. Like, how do you guys deal with that?
I don't think that most of our guys mind any of it, honestly.
Okay.
None of this has been posted about us yet. It's like we're off to a pretty good start, I'd say.
Right.
You just can't let it affect you at all because, I mean, there's too much to worry about. And if you even have to distract yourself to social media, like, you just can't. And then talking about the Lenape game, like after the game, before we even came into the huddle, like we were just talking in the locker room for like 10, 15 minutes just about how we need to bounce back because it was just our third game. And I feel like that talk definitely impacted how we're playing right now.
Cool.
Well, we appreciate you guys coming on. I mean, like I said, very worthy guest.
I had another question. I thought you had a question.
Oh, no.
My bad.
I didn't know what to say. I was like, I don't know. I drew a blank.
Yeah. No, I was just going to ask. I usually ask players, coaches, like somebody who you played against that you want to give your props to. You know, somebody who may have, you know, they may have surprised you with how good they were, or they, you know, somebody that you've played against that was really good that you knew was going to be a tough matchup.
I mean, obviously, we played Camden last year, so I mean, all those players on that team, they're all playing at the Division I level.
Right.
So just like see myself against those guys last year, we're just like, where do I need to be? Compare myself. This year, Lenape, Dorset, and Primus both played good against us.
Okay.
And then Eustis, one of my good friends, Tommy Samaraglio for Eustis.
Yeah.
He had a pretty good game against us too. So I just
what number is he?
25.
Yeah, he was tough.
He
That's
played-
the one. That's the one I work out with my son.
Yeah, I like him. I've been playing with him since 5th, 6th grade, so it's just good to like go against him in like a big game like that.
So like when you talk about somebody that you've been knowing for a while, that they go to prep school, private school, stuff like that, do you ever try to, you know, recruit them back to your school? You can recruit. The coaches can. You can though.
He's definitely said stuff to me about going to Eustis.
Okay.
But that was a while ago. Well,
Yeah, he
that's a
trying to
long
get you.
shot, but I had to shut it down. But I did like playing with him when I had the chance to.
So, Coach, I'll ask you, a player that, you know, you coached against that you saw and they just, you know, wowed you.
I'm just going to say Dorset. It's been really fun to watch him kind of grow over the years.
Right.
I remember he was a sophomore playing with Derek Simpson, and he was like the kind of little skinny
little
kid in
guy,
the corner.
yeah.
And then you saw him the next year. I'm like, that's no way that's the same kid because he grew. And then just with the great thing with this is you get to talk to these guys over the years and see them grow up and develop as people. And he's just always been a really great kid off the court as well. So that's always a good thing. So Dorsett's probably the most impressive kid we played so far.
Well, I know you played some high-level basketball yourself. Is there any players you remember going up against who were?
I'm drawing a blank right now.
I can tell you mine. All right. Mine was Ron Dane. I'll tell you that.
I'm trying to think. Nobody's really coming to mind right now. I played so long ago. I was done playing a row in 2013, so I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah. So, Coach, we were very in, but thank you for coming on. We've been watching you guys. We've been in a group chat, kind of texting one of the photographers that works with us, Jada. She's beginning of the year. She was throwing it out there. Hey, keep an eye on West. We're like, she go to West. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that you kind of just like push off. But we were watching like game after game, and you guys are doing really good. We hope you guys continue the success that you guys are having. Is there anything you want to say in closing?
No, we're just really proud. I'm just really proud of this group with the way that they've come out this year. We have Ben Mans, who's been a great player for us. He's been a great leader. Quinn's obviously taken off to the next level. Jordan, Jaden, Drew, Abe, all those guys of Carter who just joined the team this year. Those guys have really come together as a group. They worked hard every day, and I'm just proud that they're having some success. Obviously, this is not what we want the pinnacle to be,
right?
But I'm just proud of this group, and it's exciting because they're a great group of kids. We had like a pasta party maybe 2 weeks ago, and I just left thinking like, wow, I get to coach a really good group of kids. Like they're great to just be around, and they're good basketball players. So I'm proud of this group, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do the next month and a half.
Quinn, same thing. Thanks for coming on. You want to give a shout out to any of your guys?
I just want to thank you guys for having me. Of course, I mean all my guys know all of them that he named. I just love playing with all of them. It's been really fun. I just want to keep it going.
So in closing, we just want to say make sure you guys tune in to Cherry Hill West basketball. They have a couple games coming up. They play Camden Tech, Winslow, Woodbury. That should be a good one. Couple one down the stretch, but keep an eye out for them, man. They could continue this win streak. I'm not going to jinx them. You know how they say when this guy's never missed a field goal, and then you look up and you missed a field goal. So I'm not going to jinx you guys. But thanks for coming in, Kev. We got second one under the tuck. We good.
Yeah. Just one thing I want to touch on right before we leave is just a couple key games this week. Tomorrow we have, Monday, Martin Luther King Day. So there'll be a lot of basketball games played that day and showcase and stuff like that. Mainland, a contender, and South Jersey Group 3 will play Paul VI. That should be a good game to watch. East Side is out in Illinois, as we talked to Coach Kenny about last week. They play Richwoods. Did they play today? Was it today or yesterday?
They play today. They play Saturday, and then they play Monday.
Monday. Yeah, I know Monday they play Richwoods, who has Lathan Somerville, who's going to Rutgers. Metamora today. Two of the top teams in Illinois. So obviously a battle-tested team, going out, venturing out of state. TCA and Cinnaminson, TCA Trenton Catholic, big BCSL game this week. St. Augustine and Ocean City. That's a rematch. Ocean City won by a point in overtime the last time they met. This time it'll be in Ocean City, so we'll see what it's like. They went on the road and won a big game. We'll see if they could follow that up at home. Camden Catholic, Bishop Eustace, two teams on the younger side compared to where they usually are, but both playing very well right now, so that's always a good matchup. And then next Saturday, Paul VI will be having a showcase. A lot of big games there. I know they're the host, obviously. They'll be playing Don Bosco Prep, #1 team in the state. Dylan Harper, I mean, you don't got to say much. It's like when we talk about Billy Richmond, you don't got to say much. Kid is one of the best in the world right now. There'll be some big games there. I know Morristown plays Lenape next Saturday. I don't believe that's in that showcase, but That's a rematch of a county tournament game last year.
Right.
They played each other, being that Morristown moved the Olympic last year. So two teams very familiar with each other, not separated by far, just a little drive down
bit.
Hartford Road. So a lot of big matchups this week, and definitely looking forward to being out for that.
Yeah. In closing, I had one question, and it escaped me the whole episode, but I just have to ask this question. I mean, last year we saw a record number of teams being disqualified out of the playoffs. So I was going to just ask coaches, not about what happened, not about the situation. The question is, seeing that in this year we just had the incident with Mainland and Atlantic City. So seeing that, what are some type of things that you're putting in to kind of make sure that that doesn't happen to you? Because we know kids, they get hot-headed, things happen, emotions fly, especially in really good games. So what are some things that you're kind of putting in place to make sure that that doesn't go left?
I mean, well, that just goes with the mental fitness part. Just making sure we stay composed regardless of the situation. Obviously, our guys know kind of what's on the line. If guys leave the bench and you're out of the state tournament, you don't want to lose it that way. So just making sure you're staying composed in those situations and making sure your assistant coaches kind of know if there ever is a scrum, you're kind of on bench duty and making sure those guys are on the floor. But unfortunately, we've seen it happen in other places, so the guys can kind of learn from those situations.
You guys talk? Do you guys ever talk about that? The situation last year. I don't have to bring up it was what 19, 20 teams last year, something like that. But do you guys talk about that as players, or?
Yeah, we've talked about it. We've watched it. We've watched all of them pretty much. We don't really do that much in games to get that mad.
Okay.
Or talk to people, or even if there is something like that, I don't really see any of us getting in any fights or anything. So we're smarter than that.
Yeah,
we have too much on the line to just blow it all off for something so little.
That's pretty cool. But that's what I just wanted to get to. I had about 4 or 5 questions written up, but I've been in here moving stuff around, and we getting a set ready before they coming in, but it left my mind though. But good episode, Coach. Again, thank you for coming in. Quinn as well. Much success.
Thank you, guys.
Moving forward. So that's about it from me.
Pretty much summed it up. We appreciate all you guys tuning in again, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.